Welcome to Sib Spot. Today's featured Reddit stories again are from MaliciousCompliance. Getting a good dose of MC in this week. Our first story is by Invisibunny. Interviewer accuses me of parking in the handicap spot and tells me to prove it. A few years ago, while I was in school and job hunting, I got an interview at a company for office work, filing, answering phones, setting appointments, etc. I was looking forward to getting an office job instead of retail or fast food. The building had big window walls that overlooked the parking lot, so you could see cars pulling in and parking. I pull into the lot and park my car. I get out and walk to the office. Now as I'm walking in, I note that there was a car parked in the handicap space in the front of the office. This car looks just like mine, I should note. So I walk in and I'm greeted by the manager, who kind of gives me a scowling look. It made me a little uneasy as we walked back to his office. We sit down and he's asking me questions in a bit of a clipped tone. He seems annoyed by my answers and I don't understand what's going on at this point. Finally, he says, "Do you always park in handicapped spaces?" I'm confused, so I ask him what he means. He goes on a rant about how entitled I am for parking in the handicapped spot at a potential place of employment, and I'm just getting more lost. I ask him what is going on because I didn't park in the handicapped spot, I parked in the lot. He argues with me and said he watched my car pull in and saw me park there. I again told him that I didn't park in a handicapped spot, but the car that I walked by in the spot looked similar to my car. He says that he knows he saw me park and get out of the car. At this point, I'm over the whole interview. I knew this would be a cluster blank of a place to work for if this guy is managing it. Then he goes a step further and says, "Prove it." I grab my purse and get my keys out. I don't even bother waiting for him, I just leave the office. He's jogging after me and hurried outside to stand and wait. His face went from smug arrogance to Pikachu real quick as I walked past the car in the handicapped spot. He asked me where I was going as I walked over to my car. Then I turned around and made eye contact as I hit the button on my keys to unlock it and got in. He was starting to walk over to me, calling out that he was sorry about the misunderstanding, but I just put the car in reverse and left. I didn't even make eye contact with him as I drove away. OP, you did it exactly as everyone probably would expect you to do. Edited to add, this was my second interview, so the manager knows what my car and I look like. I don't know why he said he saw me. I'm assuming it was a lie to get me to admit that I did it. I've pondered this many a night, trust me. Gonna get it out of the way and say that people who are not handicapped that park in handicapped spots are jerks. You didn't though, and this guy just thought he was so right that he went off on you. I honestly hope that since you were in second round of interviews that you were the absolute best candidate for this position. This guy sounds like a massive jackhole. Down in the comments by Ms. Lurks-a-lot, "Great story and good save, OP. Imagine what it would have been like working for him." And underneath that by Bovine Arithmetic. Bovine Arithmetic? What? "Being constantly and condescendingly accused of things you didn't do? Sign me up." This next story I just love, and it's by 190 Pairs of Panties. "Tale as old as time. Don't touch my things, and I won't touch yours." So after college, I ended up living with two friends from school in a family-owned house near the school. One of them brought in one of her coworkers, Ashley, to stay for 3 months while she finished out a contract. There was a lease agreement for the main two friends. They knew my cousin and knew he was the landlord, and everything had been fine for over a year before Ashley came along. Ashley signed an agreement with him as well for the 3 months. We did agree not to share the family connection with Ashley, though, in case she was a problem and tried to use it against us, or as an excuse to be a slob or not pay. Ashley seemed okay for the first couple days, mostly settling in and getting used to the house and how it ran. I had offered to make roast dinner for everyone and was in the process of cooking it when Ashley noticed me use her bottle of Palmolive on accident and asked me why I would use hers instead of my own. It was sitting right next to mine and a little more empty. Weird, but I apologized for the mistake, took a rubber band from the junk drawer and put it on the neck of my bottle so it wouldn't happen again, and assumed that was that. That was not that. Ashley then informed the roommates that she'd seen me using her salt and pepper on the table on a couple occasions, the cardboard dollar store sets for picnics, and asked them if I always took all their stuff without asking and if I was always this way. They said no, and Ashley said they were clearly just too spineless to speak up for themselves. She turned to me and said, "I won't put up with this sort of nonsense. I don't want anyone else using anything of mine just because it's sitting out. I will not be having this conversation again. Do not touch anything of mine, or else." I can feel my pulse in my teeth. I understand completely, Ashley. I'm really sorry if you feel that way, but I think your way is the best way forward. No more using one another's things. At all. Right? Right. Right. Well, the kettle, coffee makers, toaster, and microwave are all mine. Ditto for the pots and pans, flatware, and plates in these cupboards and drawers. The big TV in the main room and the consoles are mine as well. All the bedding on your bed is also mine. I'll thank you to put it in the wash immediately. I think she thought I was joking. I was not. I was going to tell her, no roast beef or Yorkshire pudding for you, but she opted not to join us for the welcome dinner on her own. The next morning, as soon as she was gone to work, I rearranged my things in the kitchen, putting everything of mine into the walk-in pantry and put a locking knob on it. I took the remotes and controllers for my big TV and kept them locked in my room. I took the bedding and lamps of mine out of her room. Extra receiver for satellite? Nope, just the three-way we already have, and it's my account anyhow. Wi-Fi password? Sorry, that's mine as well. Ashley complained bitterly. She insisted it was illegal for me to deprive her of the microwave, internet, and TV in her lease. Nope, that thing just said a fridge, stove, dishwasher, washer, and dryer were available to use. Oh, and by the way, the laundry drying rack is mine as well, and stop using my detergent pellets. It was rough for 2 months. Ashley ended up leaving early to move in with a boyfriend. She made a big theatrical threat on her way out that she was taking it to the landlord and was going to get us all kicked out. It was then that I informed her that he was family. She looked like a balloon full of raspberry jam at that revelation, and we never saw her again. Roommates were fine with the kitchen and TV stuff. They had keys to the pantry and their own TVs in their rooms. Oh, what a miserable person to go after you for like pennies worth of stuff. I don't know. Like, did she have some sort of mental problem that caused her to be that possessive over every little thing? It just makes me wonder. How dare you use a couple ounces of dish soap? And how dare you use a tiny bit of salt and pepper? Don't touch any of my stuff. I would have made her leave a lot sooner than that. You guys waited until she was fed up enough and walked out on her own? Gosh, I would have made her leave a lot sooner than that. We're doing you a favor by letting you stay here, and you're going to be that obsessed over little tiny things being used? Our next story is by Traditional Mud, 1241. 7-year-old malicious compliance. So, this is me as a 7-year-old, much more than 7 years ago. For context, this predates common use of mobile phones. I think about the situation from time to time and just now realized it was probably my first experience with malicious compliance, even if it wasn't strictly speaking malicious. In the 2nd grade, mostly 7-year-olds, for those of you not in the US, I had one of those teachers who likes to single out a student for whatever inadequacies they are currently wrestling with, and I ended up in the principal's office quite a bit. The most recent occurrence, I was sent for lying about needing to go to the bathroom because the teacher was peeking outside the classroom on my way back and I drank at the water fountain. Apparently, it was necessary for me to ask if I could use the bathroom and get a drink of water. The principal ordered me to sign a parental form letter saying I would never again lie to school staff. 2 days later, I forgot my homework at home. I was sent to the office for this. This time I was given a form saying I had refused to do my homework. I drew a line through refused and wrote forgot. So the principal gave me another copy of the form and told me to not say I forgot. So I wrote a line through do my homework and wrote lie to school staff because I didn't refuse to do my homework. The principal started yelling at me, and I just sat there saying nothing. Then he said, "Are you going to sign the form with no changes?" I said, "I promised you I wouldn't lie. I won't sign a lie." He said, "If that's your attitude, you might as well go home." So, I did. I sighed, stood up, went down the stairs and out the door. 20 minutes later, I was home. The principal called the police. The police called my parents. Nobody thought to check the place I was told to go. Eventually, my mother got home with a police officer, and I said, "I was told to go home." So I did. Then I explained the situation. The police officer asked me if I was lying, and I told him about the first note. He looked disgusted, said, "Well, he's safe," and left. The next day we had a meeting with the teacher, the principal, a truant officer, and my parents. I said I'd accept any punishment they gave me, but I wouldn't lie about anything to any of them. The principal said, I guess it was his favorite expression, "If that's your attitude, you might as well go home." So, I did. There was yelling involved, but I left. A few days later, I was at another school. I don't know anything else that happened. I was 7. You told the teacher you wouldn't lie about anything. Malicious compliance. I'm just doing what you told me to do. Why are you so mad? I don't know. Some kids are definitely a handful even when they're young. Usually if they are, it's because they're extremely smart. Sometimes when you're working with kids, it's like you're having a battle of wits, even if it's a child. They try to push your buttons to see what they can get away with. Our stories for today have come to a close. Until we meet again, have an excellent day.